Welcome back, Truth Seeker. In the news, bad news for the Second Amendment. The sixth state, Massachusetts Governor Healey implemented the new gun law that she signed into existence back in July 25th, shortly after the Trump scare. And we talked about how that came 45 days, that Trump scare, after JFK's birthday anniversary, May 29th. And then next thing you know, he was partnered up with RFK Jr., who officially got in the race on April 5th, 2023, when he filed his paperwork 4-5. And we told you that day it foreshadowed the political theater of assassination. Again, we've been way ahead of this since before it happened. But let's go through the ritual with the governor signing, or not signing, but implementing this bill 20 days ahead of schedule, 70 days after she signed it, while RFK Jr. is 70 years old. Again, the Kennedys are from Massachusetts, where this happened. You're going to see just how perfectly synced this is with RFK and Trump and the upcoming election, because once again, this was implemented 33 days before the election. Again, you learn the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. You realize words like Kennedy, Masonry, order, secrecy, federal, police, they all equate to 33. And you know, we're in the only month of the year right now that equates to 33 as well, and that's October. And just to remind you guys, I live in this little teeny tiny town here in Washington State. And just like a lot of towns, the Masonic Lodge is right next to the police station. And in fact, in this town, they share the same building. And what I find really curious that they're doing in this little teeny tiny town, they're making it look like the rest of the cities of America. They're putting up police cameras on every light pole. Right here, the light pole in front of my house now has a police camera with constant surveillance over my house and the rest of the block. And some people like that, but I don't. As someone who understands what the authorities really are, I don't like that at all. But yeah, they had to put up the police cameras in this little teeny tiny town on the 1st of October. So anyhow, we're going to talk about all that there is in this ritual, because there's a lot here, and it's going to connect all the little Trump staged scenes that so many people have fallen for. And for all of you guys who've fallen for the Trump stuff, you know, I mean, wake up. Both of these candidates are completely controlled. They're two wings of the same bird. It's nothing but political theater and division, and people pointing their fingers at certain political parties, while the real apparatus that stands behind them strips us of our rights and liberties and quality of life. And again, Donald Trump, for example, he's no hope for the Second Amendment. I mean, what came out of his mouth when he was the president? He said, "Take the guns first and ask questions later." Whoa! It reminds you that he was a lifelong Democrat until Obama got in there. But anyway, here's the Fox News headline. And again, you see that phrase, jumped the gun. We're going to start by just even decoding that headline, even though you could argue this is the least important part of the information I'm about to present to you, but it's going to give us a historical perspective and remind us of what's up. Again, if you're new here, the practice of coding numbers into words is called Gematria. It comes from Cabala. Masonry is based in Cabala. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. Again, the Jesuits gave us the calendar and the language. Notice how jump the gun equates to 144 when you just take the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z is 26. Jump the gun equals 54, and use the alphabetic order with numerology. Again, that phrase, 144 and 54, like Jesuit order. And as a reminder, JFK met with the Pope. The Jesuits served the Pope on July 2nd, 1963, and died a span of 144 days later. And he died in Dealey Plaza, which also equals 54. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Jesuit order is also 72, a lot like the date he met with the Pope, 7-2. Remember, his child died August 9th, 1963, just before his assassination, his infant child, and that's the day leaving 144 days left in the year. Again, Lincoln blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits, shot on 14/4. April 4th, spelled out his words, equals 144. The first president to die in office died on that day. MLK got smoked on that day in a big Jesuit ritual in tribute to Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Theses. MLK gets killed on the 95th day of the year. The nation's first major gun control legislation comes that year, 68, synced with him and RFK. And RFK, 10 days before he was shot, was in Oregon, the 33rd state, saying that this nation needs gun control reform. And funny enough, from the day he got shot to that gun control reform was 139 days later, where gun control equals 139, like kind of like the 94 assault weapons ban was on 13/9. But anyway, this headline from Fox News is no accident. Again, CNN and Fox and MSNBC and all of them, the BBC, they all code out their headlines all day. You learn the code, you see who's laying it down. Again, from 7-2 to the smoking JFK and Dealey Plaza, named after a Scottish Rite Freemason, a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason nonetheless. Again, an order created by the Jesuits. Again, you had this perfect 72-144 ritual. I'll remind you that both President Trump and President Biden both equal 72, both Jesuit educated. Again, JFK killed in Dealey Plaza, 54 like Jesuit order. Again, all of these numbers have rhyme and reason too. They're all biblical. It's a whole nother story. But if you're new here, the 4 base ciphers of the English language, again, alphabetic order with numerology, reverse alphabetic order with numerology. You can see where RFK was supposedly killed. And remember, they said RFK died at 1:44 a.m. Look it up if you don't know that. RFK supposedly died at 1:44 a.m. in the Ambassador Hotel, 1:53 and 54, just like Jesuit order. I'm sure everybody recognizes the 144 and 153 from the Bible, the 144,000 chosen, the miraculous catch of 153 fish. The 54 and 72 is a little bit more to explain. But anyway, it all goes back to the sun. Sun equals 54, moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. Anyhow, the governor bumping up the implementation date. It was supposed to be October 23rd. She did it October 3rd on a Thursday, 33 days before the election. Again, Massachusetts, there's only 3 states in that cipher that equate to 33, and that's the most pure cipher. The alphabetic order with numerology. It's the first state, Delaware, which was also established on 33-date numerology with George Washington the Mason there. But it's Delaware, the first state, the last state, Hawaii, the 50th and final state, and the 6th state, Massachusetts. And then in the base ciphers, there's only one other state that has a 33 connection, and that's when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, and that's New York. New York's, though, is the 39 state. Like Pete Alonso last night, the 3-run dinger to win it in the 9th. We had the Mets as a lock to win that game yesterday. But you know what else is funny is Pete Alonso went to the plate with 1-11 bat. He was 1-11 for the series. New York equals 111 the big way, 39 the small way. Nothing but scripts. And please don't be the next dummy to be like, how do you rig baseball? How about learn how to play it? Watch these guys take batting practice. Look how often they're hanging breaking balls over the plate in key moments. A fastball right down the middle in the key moment. Do you know about cores in baseball? Because you can get different cores that fly a lot further. When it's a scripted home run, put in the core that the ball that flies 100 more feet. Don't even have to hit it well to make sure it's out of the park. Do you know about cork and bats? I just get tired of reading the comments from dum-dums who know jack shit about anything and probably can't even play these games. Listen, when you're listening to yours truly, I'm an intelligent man and an athletic man. I can also hit a baseball real nicely, you know? Anyway, these guys are in the pros making millions. They should be able to jack it out of the park on command, especially when they're given the hanging fastball or the fastball right over the middle of the plate like Pete Alonso got last night. Anyway, Massachusetts, 33 days before the election. Kennedy, 33. What day did he die? November 22nd, 11/22. What's 11 plus 22? 33, right? In the middle of Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Again, masonry, federal, secrecy, order, all 33. What's the address of the Scottish Rite Temple in D.C.? The address is 1733. What's the word Mason equal? 17. Masonry, 33. When was modern Freemasonry created? 1717. How many years later was this nation created? 59 years later. The 17th prime number. What's Freemasonry equal? 59. What's John F. Kennedy equal? 59. Are we in the time of the winners of the 59th presidential election that was perfectly synced with Pope Francis, which equals 59, where Benedict stepped down for him on the 59th day of the year? Yes, yes, and yes. 33 days before the election. The Scottish Rite's highest degree is 33. What day was this on? Oh, that was on October 3rd this happened, 10-3. Thursday, October 3rd, Scottish 103. Jesuits is also 103 for the record. Again, they wrote the rights of the Scottish Rite. Scottish Rite equals 159, like Donald Trump. Did I forget to put, oh, there's the Donald Trump part. But remember, Trump just had the supposed assassination scare on the golf course on 68 date numerology when golf equals 68, like CIA, like Donald John Trump, like how it was 68 days before the JFK assassination anniversary. And then he's partners with RFK, who lost his father in 68. But this governor signed this bill that she implemented yesterday, 70 days later. She signed it on July 25th, and that's the day leaving 159 days left in the year. And then again, Trump just had this scare on the 15th of September, 15/9. He's of Scottish ancestry. They said the Secret Service saved him, and the Secret Service was created 159 years ago in 1865 on 14/4. Yeah, the Secret Service was created on 14/4. Remember, you see how the United States of America is 144 as well? The Jesuits came out of suppression 144 days after James Madison's birthday. By the numbers. James Madison, the father of the Constitution. A lot of people think he served agents in Europe. No doubt about it. Agents in Europe like the Jesuits, like where the Scottish Rite came to power in Paris, France, where the Jesuits were created. But yeah, again, the Secret Service was created the same day Lincoln was shot, April 14th. Lincoln, who blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits and who was shot in a theater. Was he even shot? I mean, makes you wonder. Political theater to the max. All the parallels with the Kennedy and Lincoln assassination. Thank you, Jordan Maxwell, RIP. Again, if you guys haven't read my first book, Letters and Numbers, I took what Jordan Maxwell did and added on to it. You know, there's a whole lot more to it. But yeah, 159 years ago, Scottish Rite 159, like Donald Trump. And again, just to remind you guys about Scottish Rite and Donald Trump, let's pull it out all the way. Let's just pull out the calculator real quick and look at Scottish Rite and the 4 base ciphers. Trump's birthday, which is the flag's birthday, June 14th. That's the day leaving 165 days. No. That is the 165th day of the year. Trump's born on the 165th day of the year, except for in a leap year, but he wasn't born in a leap year. He's born in 46, just like Bill Clinton and the second Bush, George W. Donald Trump, 159. Donald Trump, 78 years old right now. And again, Trump cards, top cards in the tarot deck. 78 cards in the deck. He's partnered up with a Kennedy. Kennedy, 78, like Jesuit, like Order Out of Chaos. Remember, tarot cards is 119, like how he was first called president-elect back in 2016 on 11/9. And whoever wins this election takes office with the 119th Congress. And remember, when the election was called for him in 2016, they hadn't finished counting the electoral votes yet, but he was at 248 when it was called for him. And right now, the country and the Illuminati are both 248 years old. President Donald Trump, 248. It's all nothing but high ritual and numbers, just like how they etch on the temple, all is number, the Pythagoras quote. So just, beating a dead horse with the Scottish Rite thing, from Kennedy's birthday anniversary, May 29th, to this ritual was 127 days later. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry equals 127, like assassinate. Again, he was killed in Dealey Plaza, named after a Scottish Rite Freemason. 127 is the 31st prime. If you don't know this, the degrees of the Scottish Rite are 31, 32, 33. So if you add those together, it's 96, like Freemasons 96. But yeah, this ritual coming on a Thursday in tribute to clearly Kennedy. Remember, JFK was the 35th president, the first Catholic, killed at age 46, killed on Interstate 35. And again, born on the 149th day of the year, which is the 35th prime. So this ritual comes on a 35 Thursday. We're talking about Garth Brooks. The Garth Brooks ritual is 33 days before the election too, and he was at the inauguration shaking hands with Kamala. If you missed my video on Garth Brooks, go back and check that out. They're all in the club, you guys. All the people in the world stage. I'm not going to lie, though. I'm not a big fan of country music, but I did always like Garth Brooks' Low Places song. It makes me laugh. I'm learning he's a creeper, though, man. I didn't realize what a nasty little man he was. Outside of that accusation, which might even be total BS, but I didn't realize the whole thing about where he goes on tour, women always end up missing. I didn't realize that had been going on, but now I'm just like, good God. This cabal, man, is getting away with nonstop evil. Anyway, Governor Healey, right? And don't say I cheated there, because you see it all the time when these people are on TV. They abbreviate GOV. The American people can't read the full word governor. They need an abbreviation. Gov Healey. Just look at it. 46 and 35. Oh, sure, that's a coincidence. And what else is funny is she was the 44th Attorney General, and JFK was number 35, but the 44th term president. He was the beneficiary of the 44th inauguration of the president of the United States. Of course, shooting equals 44. And remember, Trump was number 45, but actually the 44th person to be president, because Grover Cleveland messed up the count due to his split term. But yeah, in light of JFK being born on the 149th day of the year, again, the 35th prime, the timing of this, Second Amendment equals 149 and 59. And John F. Kennedy equals 59. And this is part of the reason we were saying a year in advance why Joe Biden would become number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday in the 59th election, a total tribute to JFK. And I invited another YouTuber out there, No Impact Flicks, aka Here's the Deal, aka The Disturbing Illusion. And I'm going to keep calling you No Impact. Get some tough, thicker skin. We all know you watch my videos and copy, but never share the Gematria piece. I appreciate you trying to educate your audience on weather warfare the other day. Nicely done, Brian. But, Brian was one of these guys who was totally just bamboozled about the 2020 election. He's like, oh, I went to bed last night and it looked like Trump was going to win. And then it looks like maybe there was some cheating here. It's like, well, Brian, had you shared what we were trying to get you to share for a whole year in advance, Jesuit Georgetown did simulate the election June 12, 2020. And they said Biden would narrowly win. Trump would say he was cheated and it would lead to a deadly altercation in America. Isn't that exactly how they made it play out? I mean, everybody with a brain was like, well, that was weird. Trump had a big lead last night. Now we wake up and he's behind. How does that happen? Where did all these votes come in overnight from? Again, because it's all part of the sick joke, you guys. It doesn't matter when you vote in rigged selections. Actually, it does. What you're doing is you're just validating the lie. These people up on the stage are chosen candidates for the selection. So what they just did to the American Pickers reality actor, right? Frank Fritz, dead at 60. His name equals 60. American Pickers, dead right before the 60th election. You don't get the sick joke. But anyway, we're still in the time of the winners of the 59th election. And now we got the Massachusetts governor implementing this bill in her state, which I would say to date is the most infringing bill on the Second Amendment to date. All the requirements that you now have to do to have a gun in Massachusetts, I mean, that's going to keep a lot of people from ever owning a weapon. I understand. I could look at the bill and say, okay, I understand the reasoning and why, but this was not the idea from the founders of this nation. The idea was that you could arm yourself because your government is armed and tyrants can take over your government, and you need a way to protect yourself from that. Not with 50 hurdles to jump through before you can protect yourself from the tyrants. And for all of you guys who don't get that, you're too emotional, you're too soft, you're too ignorant, you're way too caught up in the news headlines. And Brian, you validate the news headlines all the time by treating every single one of these stories like they're real. I know that guy's out there watching too. He won't say anything. But that's what you do with your rhetoric. You validate the news and you're always like, I can't tell if it's real or not. Advance yourself, buddy. Learn the code, because every single one of these stories in the news is by the code, synced up with the governor. Undeniable same patterns over and over. Again, it's just undeniable. And now let's bring in the other Massachusetts guy, RFK. And let's not forget how they synced up the whole NBA finals this year with the Kennedy assassination and I mean, we called everything about that before it happened. Couldn't have been any more obvious. Boston, Dallas for the brain dead. And we were telling you all along the way, this was all foreshadowing for what was coming. Again, RFK Jr. RFK Jr., you guys, when he filed his paperwork, here, look at this. Look at this. Arturo Sosa date of birth. This is the leader of the Jesuits, right? November 12th, right? RFK Jr. filed his paperwork April 5th, 2023 to run, and then he gave his first speech on April 19th, which is Ignatius Loyola Day, the founder of the Jesuits. But look at this. November 12th, 2022. It would have been the last birthday of Arturo Sosa before April 5th, 2023. 144 days after the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, RFK Jr. gets in the race when his dad died at 1:44 a.m., when his uncle died 144 days from meeting with the Pope. We said that day in that video, this foreshadows the assassination stories to come. And what was it? August 9th, 2023, the day leaving 144 days left in the year, there was a major international headline about the assassination of a political candidate in Ecuador, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Ecuador, I'll remember if it was Ecuador, if their establishment dates the 144th day of the year. Ecuador date of establishment. Let me see. Yeah, it was. It was Ecuador. Established on May 24th, the 144th day of the year, the same day Donald Trump went over and visited the Pope at the Vatican. And then the guy gets shot on August 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year. And that was the same day that there was a story about a man being arrested in Utah for supposedly threatening to kill Biden. And let's not forget, Joe Biden has the same birthday as RFK, the father, who died in 68, at least so we're told, at 1:44 a.m. But anyway, look at this, you guys. RFK Jr. 70 years old, right? Vatican and Francis equals 70. His middle name is Francis. It's all about the Pope. Again, from the day the governor signed the bill, July 25th, to the day she implemented it was 70 days later. Remember, don't forget, from when JFK's birthday, his last birthday happened to his assassination, that was 177 days later. The name of this governor, Maura Tracy Healey, is 177. Maura Tracy Healey's 177 and 69, like the Jesuit order. I have a guy out there who made a bill like, it's all just number manipulation. That's why sometimes he uses a the, sometimes he doesn't. It's like, if you see it that way, I know that you're a RETARD, because these are fair ways to phrase it. And all of these rituals are perfect throughout history with the same numbers over and over. It's like, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that Klaus Schwab, a prominent Jesuit on the world stage, equals 177. And he was the main host of Event 201, the pandemic simulation, right before it all kicked off, and yada, yada, yada. I'm sure it's also a coincidence that on every Jesuit university, they have etched in the wall that they're the driving force of globalization, and the phrase New World Order equals 177 and 69, like the Jesuit order, when all these puppet politician presidents, who are mostly all Jesuit educated in the city where the Jesuits set up camp when they came here, Washington, D.C., I'm sure it's all just a coincidence they keep phrasing New World Order, and then a Jesuitopedia or Wikipedia, whatever the thing's called, they have to say that the New World Order is a conspiracy theory. Well, it's like, well, that's weird, because like every elected leader, you see people on TV in high positions, news anchors say it all the time, but it's a conspiracy theory. So what are you saying? Like the whole government and news media is a conspiracy theory? Because you can drop the theory part. It certainly is a conspiracy to keep people dumb and ignorant and misinformed and in their emotions and working against their better interests and finding a way to get behind these crooked criminals that they support. And Brian, if you're out there, the one thing I do like that you do is you call the DC the District of Criminals. That one is a winner. That one's a winner. But your coffee mug violence argument, that's a dumb one. You got to stop with that one. That one's just stupid. That's when people roll their eyes. They're like, come on, Brian. Brian always goes, tell me what the difference is between gun violence and coffee mug violence. It's like, well, Brian, I'm pretty sure if I was coming down the street, for all the ways you slandered my name at you with a gun, you'd probably be sweating a little bit harder than if I was walking down the street at you with this coffee mug, just for starters. That doesn't mean we should take away the guns, though. Certainly not. We need them to smoke tyrants, and you might be one of them. Maura Tracy Healey, again, 44th Attorney General, JFK, the 44th term president. Look at this. Remember, Donald Trump had the perfect photo op on the 13th of July under the 13 stripes, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the establishment of the Secret Service and Lincoln getting shot. From that to this implementation is a span of 83 days, like election and murders 83. Let's not forget what they just did to Pete Rose. Dead at 83 on 83 date numerology. 83 days from Steve Garvey's birthday, as the first image ESPN puts out is Steve Garvey standing behind Pete Rose. And now we have the battle of Steve Garvey's teams in the postseason, the Padres and Dodgers, just like that was the first spring training game, just like that was the first game to open the season. Again, Steve Garvey's expected to become senator in California with this year's election, replacing the Jewish woman who died. What's her name? Dianne Feinstein. She's got Di in the name, like Princess Di. But, God, how old was Dianne Feinstein now that I think about it? She wasn't 83, was she? She wasn't 83, was she? No, she was older. Okay, she was older. She was born in 33. I think Pelosi was 83 when she died. I think that's what I was thinking of. Because we all know the Baltimore Bridge came down on Pelosi's 84th birthday. Her father died at 84, had the same birthday as Francis Scott Key. That was another whopper that no one in the supposed truth community helped us get out there. But anyway, again, listen to the song Murder by Numbers, where killing is the sport of the elected, and it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Again, we told you back in spring when the Ohtani news broke that Pete Rose was in big trouble because he was going to turn 83 in the season, and the Ohtani gambling story, then Pete Rose the gambler. Again, Pete Rose banned from baseball in 89. And you know what day he was banned on? The 24th of August, the same day as the Trump mugshot when President Donald Trump's 248, but 24/8 like 248, like Pete Rose dies while the country's 248 years old. And again, from that gambling story about Ohtani breaking to Pete Rose's death was 193 days later. That's the 44th prime number. And that matters because Pete Rose had a 44-game hit streak that ended in Georgia. That's also where Trump had the mugshot, isn't it? Yeah, it is. On 24/8. They said he was in jail for 15 minutes. Atlanta is always about 15. But yeah, the last games of the Major League season were the day Pete Rose died, and the last games were in Georgia. You see how they do it, you guys? You see how they do it? It's all connected. Rigged sports, rigged elections. But anyway, this 83 days from the Trump thing with election and murder and the song Murder by Numbers, it just jogs my memory that, earlier this year we called the Colorado thing dead on when they took him off the ballot and said how it was a big ritual and why they'd put him back on by the numbers, which they did. Remember, they put him back on the old inauguration day, March 4th, which can be written 4/3. And just if you're new here, look how Colorado and election overlap. I'm going to bring this all together for you. Election in Colorado, the exact same in all ciphers. Homosexual, for the records, 133 and 43. They have the first publicly homosexual governor there in Colorado. But 43 is the 14th prime, and it was a 14th Amendment case, and they put him back on the ballot on the date 4th of March, which can be written 4/3, with a 4-3 decision. And remember, we told you before it even happened, we said right around this time, just watch, you guys. Trump's going to go back on the ballot. And then it was the very next day, the 38th day of the year, that the Supreme Court announced they were going to hear the Trump case of being removed from the ballot and why he should be reinstated. They announced that on the 38th day of the year. So anyway, you might recall with that story, first how JFK was, at the 44th presidential inauguration. That's when he got sworn in. But you might recall how that Colorado story, a state forever intertwined with mass shootings because of Columbine and then the many others that have happened since. But you might recall how they said a man who was mad about Trump being removed from the ballot shot up the Colorado Supreme Court after hours on January 2nd. And that was 44 weeks to the day before the election. November 5th, which is Guy Fawkes Day, the day the Jesuits tried to blow up British Parliament with gunpowder. Again, in this Jesuit-controlled nation, that's the real reason we fire off gunpowder into the sky and call it fireworks. I'm realizing that was 10 months and 3 days, too, like this 10-3 ruling by the Massachusetts governor, but 308 days, of course, is a lot like 38, like death, murder, killing, RIP, Colorado election. They're all 38. But yeah, he had to shoot up the courthouse 44 weeks before the election. Go back 8 years to November 5th, 2016. The story was that Trump survived an assassination attempt in Nevada that day. There again, it was about as believable as the one on the golf course, and again, I guess the one that's different about the one that happened on July 13th is, they had a little theater spectacle for you that was not believable at all. And remember, right after the spectacle on July 13th, which was the 195th day of the leap year, Robert Kennedy got Secret Service. And how do you spell his name again? Corey. Here, I got his name. His last name's a little bit difficult to remember and spell. Where's he at? But yeah, the guy who died, his name was spelled wrong on the GOP stage in Milwaukee, where they nominated J.D. Vance, the youngest VP nominee since Teddy Roosevelt, who was shot in Wisconsin, another 44 state. But you see how Corey Comparatori is 195, the guy who got killed on the 195th day of the year? Right now we're in the year of the dragon. He was a firefighter. I want to see if I can find that post real quick, because there was an interesting piece of information that slipped through my mind. Let me see if I got it in this post. But yeah, the 195th day of the year, this is the guy who's killed. And if you saw the interview after he died with his family said he was very confident he was going to end up on the stage with Trump. And he did end up on the stage with Trump at the convention. Not exactly him, but his name, his memory, his Buffalo fighter jacket. And they showed that he was number 27, like Buffalo equals 27, like ritual. But hold on. Is this the post where I put it in here? No, I didn't put it there. Hold on. It's another post I have on this. Let me see. FBI chief says Trump shooter searched online for how far away was Oswald from Kennedy. Yeah. Hold on. This is where I got it at. Okay. This ritual happened in the year of the dragon. You see how that's also 195? I mean, dragons breathe fire, right? That's the story. So a fireman gets killed on the 195th day of the year, whose name's 195. Again, Robert Kennedy gets the Secret Service. If you drop the year of the dragon is 243. You know what's funny is Central Intelligence Agency is 117, like Robert Kennedy Jr.'s birthday. 117. And the golf course scare was on the 243rd day of RFK Jr.'s age, after these guys paired up by the numbers. All right. Yeah, there's even more to it. But again, just to take you down memory lane in some of the highlights of everything we've been talking about, the ritualism, why they're doing all this, why they put these certain things together. If that man was really killed, I mean, he was targeted ritualistically. He was invited to that rally for a reason. He was telling his family he was going to become part of the stage. You never know. He might have been in a Blue Lodge. He might have been selected through the Blue Lodge. He might have been told, like, hey, listen, something special is going to happen for you, Corey. We just need you to be there. And the next thing you know, he's in the obituaries, and his family's without a father. Again, a lot of bodies connected to both of these people. Trump and Kamala, a lot of bodies connected, including Trump's ex-wife, dead down the stairs 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Nation year, when Donald Trump's 60, the same day he says he's going to run for the 60th election. Kamala on Willie's Willie at age 60. Now she's about to be 60. And apparently Tim Walz is 60, but I don't believe it. He looks way older than my dad. My dad was born in 53. He turned 71 this year. He looks like he's 10 years younger than Tim Walz. Tim Walz with that deep white hair, that big shiny bald spot, old looking face, losing his lines. I mean, where are these lines coming from on the stage? You're friends with school shooters? Like, where is that at? They say these people have to prep so hard for a debate. I'll tell you what, since I've been 18 years old, I could have smoked any presidential debate versus any of these candidates, and that's not cap. I could have smoked any of them without any preparation, just getting up there and talking about real shit and what stooges and clowns they are. I could down a fifth, not sleep for a week, and still smoke these idiots in the debate. And I don't drink a lot, so anyway, let's call the governor. See if we can get on with the governor here. And it's been a minute since we called a politician. Let's see if we can actually get through. The old 617. Remember 617's the 113. Here, hold on. One more thing we got to do before we call. Let me see if Stat News is working for me again on this screen. Dallas Mavericks all-time NBA postseason record. Right here. Come on, man. Why does it keep saying this? Prompts for I've been using this website for like over a month now. They like banned me from this website. Here. You guys can look it up. They are stuck on 113 postseason wins. Dallas is 113 like Scottish. The National Basketball Association. Or, God, it could be the head-to-head with Boston. It's either their postseason record or the head-to-head with Boston. It's one of the two. It's probably the postseason record, though. I don't think they have that many wins against Boston. But we call the NBA the 113 league. And 617, which is Boston's area code, the most winningest team in NBA history, it's the 113th prime number. So, okay, just jokes for days. Because, again, the whole thing was a tribute to JFK. If I remember right, actually, Boston came in with 46 wins versus Dallas all time. Yeah, so there's no way that Dallas has the 113 wins versus Boston. But they came in with 46 wins, like JFK got smoked at 46. Anyway. All right, let's try out the governor's office. 617 area code jogging my memory. And don't forget, AT&T's headquartered in Dallas, and right after you guys won the finals there in Massachusetts, you guys had an AT&T outage the very next day. 911 was out. AT&T made 911 the national emergency dialing code in 1968. The year World Trade Center construction began in New York. George W. Bush had a Yale Skull and Bones. 2001: A Space Odyssey. The New York Jets only Super Bowl season. Sean Payton just came into New York against the Jets with a 9-11 record with the Broncos. What's Revelation 6:8 about? Behold a pale horse. The pale horse Broncos come in, 9-11, take down the Jets. Another joke. Again, the same Masons that run your national rig selections, they run your national fixed league, your nothing but actors league. That's the NBA. Of course, the NFL is the national fixed league.
Thank you for calling the Massachusetts Governor's office. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the latest information about COVID-19, please visit mass.gov/COVID-19. If you have a question or concerns, please leave a detailed message with your full name and the best phone number to reach you. A staff member will follow up shortly to assist. Please note that this call may come from a blocked number. If you would like to leave a message for the governor, you may do so after the beep. Thanks again for calling and have a great day.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, I am a concerned citizen calling about the bill that you enacted early that further infringes on the Second Amendment. And I noticed that you did that October 3rd, 33 days before the election. And of course, we once had the late, great JFK from your state, who was killed on 11/22. Sure, we can do the math there. 11 plus 22, 33. In Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. And again, Masonry is based in Cabala, and I've called a lot of government offices about this. Cabala has something called Gematria. The police did a song about this, and one of the members of the police, Stuart Copeland, his daddy was in the CIA. But again, the lyrics go, murder is the sport of the elected, and it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Well, in that ABC 1, 2, 3 code, Massachusetts equates to 33, as does Kennedy, as does Masonry, as does federal, as does secrecy, as does order. And then what's curious is the date you signed off on, 10/3, the word Scottish also equates to 103. And you signed the bill on July 25th. That's the day leaving 159 days left in the year, like Scottish, right, equals 159. And so does Donald Trump, who's of Scottish ancestry, who just had the scare supposedly on the golf course on 15/9, 159 years after Lincoln was shot. And the same day the Secret Service was created. And then it's funny that you implemented it 70 days after you signed it, because, of course, RFK Jr. is 70 years old right now, and he's partnered with Trump, and he officially got in the race when he filed his paperwork on 4/5. And next thing you know, Trump has an assassination scare 45 days after JFK's birthday under the 13 stripes on the 13th of July, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the establishment of the Secret Service. There's a lot of 13s on those Scottish Rite temples too. So again, they etch on the temple, as we know, all is number. We know the capital city is known as the Masonic City. We had founders warn us about the significance of certain secret societies, including JFK himself, and he wasn't a founder, but of course he was the one who got shot in an area named after a Mason. And it looks like you're doing a Masonic ritual to further undermine the integrity of this nation, what it's supposed to be about. So I am saying shame on you. I would hope that you would retract what you've done, and I would hope to see more politicians get on board with what the country was originally supposed to be about: protecting ourselves from enemies, foreign and domestic, through a First Amendment, through a Second Amendment. And the original concept of that Second Amendment was that we were supposed to have weaponry on tier with the government, because tyrants do take over governments. And what I've learned is the tyrants running this nation work by this same repetitive code. This whole 33 thing. Have you ever looked into 33 years before 2001? The year 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code, and World Trade Center construction began in New York. In 2001, Space Odyssey came out, and George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones, a Masonic order where the alumni are called Bonesmen, which also equals 33. I mean, this stuff goes on and on and on and on and on. And, it's funny because old Thomas Jefferson, he was one of the founders that warned about secret societies and name names. And he said, if you do not have a revolution every 19 years, you will lose your rights and liberties. And back when I was a child, I read that, well, more like a teenager. And I thought, why 19 years? And then I realized the moon's on a 19-year cycle. And then I realized we got COVID-19, 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers, which came 19 years after the war on drugs, which came 19 years after the war on JFK's head, which came 19 years after the year we deployed the most troops to World War II. And all these wars have essentially been wars on us. We've lost rights and liberties. Sure, we go to 13 years of slave school, pledging to 13 stripes, learning about how great these wars were. But really all they did was brought about central banks and more taxation. And as far as I can tell, a lot less freedom and liberty worldwide, a lot more tyranny, a lot more rituals by the numbers, like seemingly you're participated in. And by the way, Governor, what's crazy? Have you done the gematria of your own name? Your name, Maura Tracy Healy, equates to 177, and JFK was killed 177 days after his birthday. And that's interesting because the Jesuit order equals 177, and it was Jesuit priests who wrote the rites of the Scottish Rite, where we began. So anyhow, if you want to give me a call back, my number is 509-560-4982. Again, 509-560-4982. I'd love to have an interview with you as well if you'd like to talk about these things. I am an author, and I have been exposing federal tyranny for over 11 years now, and I'm waiting for one of you to resign from your throne of the tyrant, if you will, and do something that's actually heroic and worthy. Because I haven't seen any of that from any governors in this land. I haven't really seen it from any politicians. About the only decent one I've seen in my lifetime has been Cynthia McKinney, and I know she ended up losing her spot in Congress for punching out a security guard who wouldn't let her in the building. So, and again, the reason she was a hero is because she was the one that heavily questioned 9/11, where almost nobody else did. Isn't it funny how that same thing that was a massive lie that undermined our rights and liberties followed that same 33 pattern that you're now bringing to the people of Massachusetts? So we'll see what's next. We'll see what's next, Governor Healey. Help America heal by doing something right instead of tyrannical. And you know what else? This might not be exactly politically correct in 2024, but I do sometimes think that part of the reason the founders didn't want women in office is because women are emotional. Just like how the media is always trying to play on people's emotions, which is the main strategy for getting them to give up their rights and liberties. And I don't think you're doing a good job for women who might feel that way when you're probably making the biggest infringement to date on the Second Amendment. So you should also think about that. It might not be politically correct, but again, the founders did have reasons. And, I do love women, but women definitely, it's like my sweet lady. She wouldn't argue with me. She knows women are more emotional. Get a woman on the wrong day, man, you might just lose the whole country. So, and hopefully you didn't go the Kamala Harris route, if you know what I mean. But we'll save that for another time. It's funny how she was riding Willie's Willie at age 60. Now she's about to turn 60 just in time for the 60th election. And then what happened to Donald Trump's wife? He pushed her down the stairs 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year. It's like, again, be the hero, not with this gang of criminals and killers and tyrants and thugs and people who push their wives downstairs. And we need one of you to be a hero. A lot of people, think about all the little kids that believe in you out there. All little kids that think, oh, Governor Healey, I want to grow up to be a Governor Healey and do something good for my country. Why don't you show them what something good actually looks like? It's not undermining the concept of the country. That certainly isn't it. All right, Governor Healey, you take care now.
If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review it, to send your message now, press 1. To mark it as a message sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another, thank you.
All right. Maybe one of these days we'll get a call back. I mean, what do you think over the years? You think that's the 100th call? 100th call? We still haven't gotten any calls back, but you just never know. All right. Here, let's try one more. If you guys, this is the new thing too. We used to actually get people's voices on the phone. Now all we get are recordings. Let's try the Springfield office. You just never know. I don't feel like leaving another voicemail though. Oh, we got the Washington, D.C. office too. We'll try that one. Try them all here.
Thank you for calling the Massachusetts Governor's Office. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the latest information about COVID-19,
isn't it annoying how COVID, it's just like, oh, there's the big priority in the country. COVID-19. Yeah, that's what I was calling about.
For concerns, please leave a detailed message with your full name and the best phone number to reach you. A staff member will follow up shortly to assist. Please note that this call may come from a blocked number. If you would like to leave a message for the governor, you may do so after the beep. Thanks again for calling.
All right, one short one.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, this message is for the governor. I was hoping I could talk to a live person. It just seems these days in the age of AI and big tech, it's hard to find a human voice out there. And taxes keep going up, so I'd think there'd be even more employees on the phone lines, but so far it isn't so. Anyhow, I am calling to let it be known that I'm not so happy about the latest infringement on the Second Amendment by Governor Healey. And I just wanted to get clarification. Is it just a coincidence that you bumped up the date to October 3rd, 33 days before the election? Is it just a coincidence? Because that 33 number with guns and politics, I mean, it probably rings a bell there in the state of Massachusetts with what happened to old JFK, killed in Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason on 11/22. And if I can do my math right, after 13 years of slave school, pledging to 13 stripes, I'm pretty sure 11 plus 22 is 33. And I'm pretty sure those are also the master numbers in numerology, which slave school taught me was for weirdos. But then lo and behold, these Masons who founded the nation, man, they were a bunch of weirdos, I suppose, because Freemasonry is very much based in numerology. That's because it's based in Cabala, where it's stated all is number, and God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And Cabala has this numerology practice of encoding numbers into words. And lo and behold, if you actually look into it, which they didn't teach me about in slave school, but I wish they would have, Massachusetts equates to 33. So does Masonry. So does federal. So does secrecy. So does order. So does police. So does Kennedy. And there's only 1 month in the whole year that equals 33, and it's October when you do this, 33 days before the election. Am I reading into things too much, or am I onto something here? And again, I don't know why you politicians think it is so kosher to go against the First and Second Amendment. I don't see any of you guys trying to write bills to stop big tech from totally destroying the First Amendment. And I understand they're a private company, but you know what? They are very un-American, and they very much have destroyed our ability to communicate in what is the town square or the central square of the modern era, which is online and social media. Again, I really feel like that's what all of you should be doing, trying to restore what America is supposed to be about. But all I really see is silence on the issues that matter. Championing. I didn't go to Ivy League schools like you guys. I can't quite get it out, but you know what I mean. You guys are championing bills that make this country everything but what it was supposed to be. So, again, if you could reconsider, if you could maybe retract the bill and maybe even do us one better. Bring back the original integrity of the Second Amendment, where we are allowed to have arms on tier with what the government has. And if that sounds insane to you because you guys have such capable weapons, again, maybe you need to think about the insanity of the weapons that our taxpayer dollars have developed. And as far as I can tell, haven't really done any good in the world. Blaming men in caves for demolishing the towers in Manhattan, when we all know the Manhattan Project was to develop those big old bombs. Called it the new Pearl Harbor, as buildings 1, 2, and 7 came down in New York when Pearl Harbor was on 127, December 7th. Not to mention those buildings came down 33 years after construction began in 68, the same year 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code. If I'm not mistaken, your state was heavily involved in that ritual, wasn't it? How many planes came from Boston? So anyway, we need heroes, not tyrants. Over and out.
If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review, to send your message now, press 1. To mark message sent. To disconnect, press 1. Thank you.
All right, I'm seriously not going to leave a message this time, but I just got to see if anybody picks up at the DC office. This has been the new trend for, I'd say, a couple of years now. I think it's been about 2 years since we even had you know where the last person who picked up? It was a mass shooting in Alabama synced with the governor. If you guys remember that one, that was the best one I ever did, because the guy who picked up the phone was cool too. And he was like, wow, I've never heard these ones before. It was like he was into what I was saying. It was almost like he was trying to be like, I have to go back and listen to it myself. But I remember that guy in Alabama, he was all right. That was the last time we got anybody on the phone.
Sorry, William Ratsky is not available. You cannot record a message for William Ratsky. This mailbox is full. Hello, Cisco connection messaging system.
You can't even leave a message at the DC office. Hey, by the way, look at what the address is for the DC office, 444. You guys remember the significance of that, right? Just a little reminder. Anything that is 74 in English gematria is 444 in Sumerian gematria. So like Masonic. The DC office in the Masonic cities at the address of 444. Okay. Well, yeah, I just don't feel very represented. Nobody ever calls me back. Gonna have to do what Thomas Jefferson said, but the problem is there's only like 19 of us in the whole country who are up for it. I guess that's why people make comic books and movies. It's like you got to fulfill your fantasy somehow. The 19 truth seekers who restored liberty. All right. All right. Thank you, Mike Rawson. Appreciate it, man. You're very welcome. Appreciate the 5, Big Mike. He's the real Big Mike. Call the country club? What's the country club? About to do my next voicemail singing like I'm Garth Brooks on Friends in Low Places. John Kerry said people don't need free speech. I didn't know he said that, but I remember when he ran against Bush, the other Skull and Bones member, they're both in the same Skull and Bones order. And he was up there on the debate stage acting like he was trying so hard to lose. Like, how do you lose to this guy? You can't even formulate a sentence. Come on, man. It's amazing people still are voting in 2024 after all that we've witnessed in the 21st century. Pretend I'm an APAC lobbyist. That could work. Any dirt on Chris? Are we talking about Chris Christopherson? We don't speak ill of the dead. Chris Christopherson equals 88, like his age of death. I'll drop the link if anybody else has anything to share about this Massachusetts thing. Hey, No Impact Flicks, if you're out there and figuring out how you're going to present your next video without the Gematria, why not hop on, man? Let's ally. I know we don't like each other, but see, you guys, like I've been telling Brian for years, I don't like Brian. He doesn't like me. But it would be better if instead of hating on each other, we work together, because we're pretty much the only two people who've hung around on the tube who have a very similar message. And that is, you got to stop supporting these federal tyrants and participating in their rigged selections. I just got a lot better evidence than he does, and that's the real problem. Can't swallow his pride. It's okay to be second place. What's up, 917?
Yeah, did you do anything about the dead 27-year-old rapper, French American rapper, dead on 10/3? You
already did the decode for us, man. It sounds like it belongs in my old book from 2017 about the 27 Club and all of them that died 103 days from their birthday. Again, if people don't know, 103 is the 27th prime. So we got a 27-year-old dead rapper on 10/3 apparently. And here, just again, you said he's French American, and again, the Scottish Rite came to power in France. Scottish has the 103, just like Jesuits, and that's where they were created, in Paris. What's his name?
Yeah, I forget. I think something Lucas. I forget, but he's dead 87 days from his birthday. 88 days, including the end date.
So we get
is July 8th.
Lucas Coley. Well, a lot of 87 stuff in the time of the Pope, and 88 goes with the rapper, like you said.
Jesuit people 103.
Yeah, right.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, he's a French American. I caught it because it said social media star, and I think social media star also equals 103. That's why I looked into it. But I'll let somebody else get on, Zach. Thank you so much for the work. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, man. I'm reminded that people really like the dead rapper videos. Country music still super popular. I need to figure out how to reinvent myself as the first white rapper to incorporate the Garth Brooks style while also truthing. Lucas Coley, a French-American rapper and social media influencer known for his song, I Just Wanna, has died. His manager confirmed Thursday. He was 27 years old. Yeah, 10-3, 27. Just brutal, man. Again, if you guys haven't read my 2017 book, Letters and Numbers, I did add on a little bit more to it at the beginning of 2018 after the Stoneman Douglas shooting. Remember, that was on Valentine's Day, 2/14. It was in Parkland. JFK died in Parkland on 2/14. The New York Liberty this year had a massive 2/14 ritual. I know we circled that in the WNBA season. We said, that's interesting with all the stuff going on with Dallas in the NBA Finals, and now the Liberty got the big 2/14 ritual. And I know the Liberty have been putting it on the Las Vegas Aces in their WNBA series. Yes, the WNBA is entirely scripted, just like the National Basketball Association. No cause of death was immediately provided. Well, what else is new? Oh, they're going to put it on suicide. They got him with a COVID mask around his chin and a Death Row Records hoodie. Is there a Snoop Dogg connection here? Because Snoop Dogg runs Death Row now. Y'all know what happened to Snoop Dogg's mom. I'll do a post on this later. I'll take a look at this and see what else is there. But the 103.27 thing is obvious. Oh, Rick James, when I get off this stream, you can call me. You called me earlier. I couldn't pick up because I was on the phone. Sorry, I meant to call you back, but you know how it is around here. I'm always running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I should start pranking people. Give me some ideas. We're the new Jerky Boys. I don't like doing that, though, because, see, I mean, the thing is, like, I understand that people like prank calls and they like humor and comedy. I guess if they were deserving, I mean, the problem is you can't prank call these politicians anymore because none of them even pick up the phone. But I don't like doing things at other people's expense, right? I mean, I don't like, I mean, if you're prank calling them, you're essentially disrespecting them. So, but some people do deserve to get disrespected. Yeah, I saw that. I did a post on my website, Fresh Prince, about the Chino X. Did you see what day his family came out and said that he committed suicide? They said it on September 27th, that very important date of the Jesuits. And again, Chino XL, dead 50 weeks after Magoo, both dead while hip hop's 50 years old. Right after the 808 area code burns up, when hip hop was built on the 808 drum machine out of Japan, and Maui burns up between the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Joe Biden equals 64 like Maui. He shows up for Hawaii's 64th birthday as a state. Barack Hussein Obama, 64, supposedly his state. All these little jokes that nobody got with the Maui thing. Nobody helped us get out the word. No Impact Flicks Bryant keeps saying, he's like, I don't know what the point of sharing that work is. I don't see what it really adds to the conversation. Hey, I'm going to do my same old thing. Like, gun violence is no different than mug violence. Talk about not adding anything to the conversation. As you get fooled by every headline, as you still... See, that's the thing about Brian at No Impact. He cannot tell if the headlines are real or not, but then he says, my work doesn't add to the conversation. He doesn't seem to be that dumb. I don't know. Who is the king at LSU? Joe Burrow right now? I don't know. King of Louisiana? Is it Joe Burrow right now? I don't know who it is. Poor Billy Cannon. They had to take Billy Cannon on Cannonball Day for... And that's part of the joke, too. That Judge Eileen Cannon, who wanted Donald Trump in court for Cannonball Day, and the elections on the anniversary of the gunpowder plot, all these things are Jesuit things. Trump Jesuit educated at Fordham. But they have Judge Eileen Cannon now overseeing the legal matters for his shootings. I mean, people aren't getting the jokes here. The endless jokes. Yeah, yeah. It's just like the scene in They Live. He won't even put on the glasses. All he has to do is just slip on the glasses. Challenge Brian to a duel. Woo! He's out in Oklahoma. These things used to be legal out there. The Wild West meets the Oklahoma boy for the truth or shootout. Have I seen the Shaq video for Revelation of the Method? Well, Shaq's a Mason. I haven't. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, John Wick's another one of those things giving people clues. We all know, man, that what did they do to the dude from The Wire right before the new John Wick movie came out? That was blatant. People still go to the movie. They're like, well, whatever. I still want to watch John Wick 4. Guys like the bellhop at the Illuminati hotel and that thing. He just happens to be dead by the numbers right before John Wick 4's out. Yeah, Michael K. Williams on Idris Elba's birthday at 54. Yeah, Lance Reddick. I think that is his name. Let me check that out. So many names that we covered over the years, man. They put out his cause of death on April 6th on the day of the Michael K. Williams news, too. Blatant. I forgot that. And then they put out the Coolio cause of death later that day as well. And Coolio died on the 46th anniversary of Stevie Wonder's Pastime Paradise, when Sacrifice is 46. They said the cause of death was heart artery disease. I mean, come on, man. 201 and 84, big Jesuit Illuminati numbers. That wasn't the post, though. I forgot about that one. Keanu Reeves paying tribute to Lance Reddick. For the see how they do it on the 201st day Keanu Reeves' age. CNN's got out this story for his death, and then they're putting out the cause of death, which is 201. Again, that movie's essentially about the Illuminati. Oh man, the Illuminati, that's a conspiracy theory. Actually, it's a real thing from May 1st, 1776, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Get informed. That movie did come out in May. The Illuminati's birthday month, May 1st. He died on the 83rd day of the year, murder 83. Wait, what? What'd I say? Hold on, what? I did something wrong here. Oh, John Wick opened on the 83rd day of the year. That's what it was. John Wick opened on the 83rd day of the year. Oh, yeah, just dead right before. All right, let's see. We got one person who hopped on here. Green Kid 1988. What's up, Green Kid? Green Kid? Green Kid 1988. Going once. Going twice. He dropped himself out. All right. Stage fright, I guess. All right, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to take a look at this Lucas Coley thing, see what else is out there. And, but yeah, the 103.27 thing's blatant. You know what? I got to check real quick just in real time, because with Snoop Dogg taking over Death Row by the numbers, and he's got the Death Row sweatshirt on the story. I forget what Snoop's birthday is. Oh yeah, how could I forget? He has the same birthday as Kamala Harris. Do you remember how he was passing the torch at the Olympics right after Joe Biden passed the torch to Kamala Devi Harris? Look, Kamala Devi Harris, 152, passed the torch, 152. Lisa Simpson's the first female president of the United States. in the March 19th episode, 152 days. After her birthday, that episode came out. Her birthday's October 20th. So that means that if he died October 3rd, that means he died 17 days before Snoop's birthday. And that does stand out. Alphabetic order and numerology. I got the wrong cipher up here. This is the one I want. Rap is 17, like kill. Mason's also 17. So that might not be an accident. All right. We'll leave it there. Thanks again, everyone who hits the like and the share. And hold on, Green Kid, were you trying to hold on? Maybe Green Kid wanted to say something. He came back on real quick. Green Kid, did you want to add something? He must be having some kind of audio troubles on his end. Next time, Green Kid. All right. Yeah. Thanks again, everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time. You can't unmute. Oh, I see. I see your comment in the chat. I don't know. You're not muted, so I don't know. I don't know what your audio setup is. Do you have a mute button? Like, do you have one of those headsets with a mic that has a mute button? It could be that. Maybe you're on a Bluetooth and it's not connecting. But I know you're not muted through the thing, so it's got to be your hardware. Yeah, DJ Rivers is right. If you guys do leave a comment, it could just even be a period or a comma or an exclamation point. Supposedly, it helps the algorithm. Somebody told me I need to work on my search engine optimization, so I added some keywords to my channel. I'll see if it helps. Gina, Snoop's had several sacrifices for his career, as we've covered, including his mother. If you forgot, his mother died 112 days before he performed in the Super Bowl. So just to remind you, Super Bowl 112, Snoop Dogg 112. Yeah. And then he put out Murder Music. That was his album after his mom died. Murder Music's the exact same as Jesuit Order in every cipher. And then Snoop's daughter even had a near-death experience within the past year. And don't forget, his whole murder was the case, where he got off for killing the guy. That was all by the numbers. That was a big 56 ritual. All right, Green Kid thinks he's got it figured out. Let's try it. Let's hear it, Green Kid. You got it? I don't think so. We'll get it figured out, Green Kid. There'll be plenty more live streams, so. He's trying. Yeah, it didn't work. All right. I'm really out of here. I'll probably put up a video here in a little bit, but hold on. Somebody wants me to look into 64 parishes, Abraham Lincoln. Hold on. Let's do that real quick. Abraham Lincoln, 64 parishes. That's 65. Let's try 64. One night in Louisiana. Lincoln in Louisiana. All right, we got the Super Bowl this year in Louisiana. New Orleans Saints equals 64. Oswald was from New Orleans. Remember when Derek Carr just upset the Cowboys? There were all kinds of things to it, but remember, Dak fell to 44-19 at home, losing to 44-19 to the Saints. But Derek Carr became 74-88 by winning. Oswald 74-88. And what was the other thing? There was one other Oswald joke in the Saints upset of the Cowboys. But okay, I'm realizing now that there's some 64 connection with the parishes there in Lincoln in history, and those are the 64 spaces on the chessboard, I'm sure, and Trump's Jesuit education beginning at Fordham in 64. Kamala born in 64. Okay. It says in 1828 and 1831, a young Abraham Lincoln would visit New Orleans by way of a flatboat journey down the Mississippi River. He was nearly killed on his first excursion. In 1828. It's 196 years ago now. A teenage Abraham Lincoln guided a flatboat down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. How many people still have this true about? He was thoroughly a master of all the phases of frontier life. You know what was different about now and then? They didn't go to 13 years of slave school. You know what they did? They actually grew up. They had a family. They learned how to actually do things outside. They learned about the plants in their area, how to build things. Yeah, isn't it? I mean, that's how you can just see how the education system has just made us just dumb. Look at the buildings from the 1800s compared to now. I mean, yeah, engineering and being able to build skyscrapers is another thing. It's not the whole argument, but look at like the craftsmanship all over from structures in the 1800s. It shows that there was an abundance of builders with high skill like everywhere. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. Madden 25 is out. Let me do my homework. Christopher Columbus. I can play some more Madden. That's what happened. I don't need to do anything. Everything's automated. Donald Trump's going to save us. Here, I have my book. It says all I have to do is pray and believe, and he'll come down from the clouds someday and save everything. I can play Madden now. Okay, yeah, I'll read more about this. But okay, I see what you're saying. A near-death story with Lincoln in New Orleans, bringing in the Oswald piece, the parallels between Oswald and Kennedy. Hold on, Green Kid thinks he's got it figured out. What's up, Green Kid?
Yo, can you hear me?
The 10th time's the charm. What's up?
Okay. So I know you're talking about this this gun control thing that they got going on in Massachusetts. So in the movie They Live, around the 23 minute mark or 23-second mark, he puts on the glasses, right? And he's walking around. He's still like analyzing everything. So he goes to this newspaper stand. He picks up I don't know what the cover was of the magazine that he picked up, but in that magazine, there's an article that he opens up to before he sees the guy that's with the disfigured face or whatever. And then in that article, it's talking about how they're trying to get guns out of school. One of the articles says classroom disarmament, and it just so happens that they're talking about Boston. They're talking about schools in Boston and how they're trying to control the kids to get them indoctrinated by like ruling out chewing gum. What else do I see about well, I don't want to bore everybody, but it's just talking about how they're trying to get this agenda going about controlling the students and making sure that they're not being armed. But I mean, what a coincidence. 2025, they said that they're gonna control the masses or whatever in that luncheon or dinner, whatever it is that they're having. And this article just so happens to be in there, and it's in regards to, but I don't know where the movie was set, if it was in New York City or what have you, but it's just kind of curious. I mean, it strikes me as like
where was all this again? Where do we need to go to see all this?
The movie They Live.
That's in They Live, about the Boston and everything.
Yeah, watch. It's talking about how it's in one of the nation's most dangerous schools, and it has to be it's in Boston. Let me see.
Is it the part where he like sneaks into the They Live headquarters? He's like eavesdropping and hearing things.
No. It's when he just gets the glasses. So it's talking about Boston's Charles Street jail. No, that's not the school. I don't know, because it's so like small, I just, for whatever reason, I just said, you know what, and just listening to your videos on a daily basis. I'm looking out for these things, pausing movies at certain, time frames to see if maybe I see something, and I just see this, and it's it has a picture of two officers like congratulating each other, and then on the bottom of it, it's on the minute mark is 34:23. That's when he opens up the magazine or whatever, and there's just like a whole bunch of articles. It's talking about office buildings for whatever reason. I see the number 72 sticks out to me right away. And then the article below it is talking about classroom disarmament.
Very interesting. I haven't watched that movie for a long time, but I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can get that nugget. I know in the movie that They Live type say they're gonna have full control over the world in 2025. So it is interesting how close we are to that. And
yeah, one thing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One thing that I see is the school also uses scare tactics, field trips at Boston Charles Street Jail, for instance, and get students to talk to inmates about prison life, and they can be tried as adults as young as 14 in Massachusetts, yada, yada, yada.
I see. By the way, I got to ask you, were you born in 1988?
Yes, sir.
The same year They Live came out. Interesting. Okay.
Crazy.
Again, remind people that movie came out on Diddy's birthday, November 4th. Cable 54 rules the world in that one, and now
at
look
age
at 19.
19.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts, bro. I mean, what's this world coming to?
Well, sadly, it's been this way for a while. So
yeah,
it's coming to what they told us it was going to come to.
Yeah. Hidden in plain sight. All right, man. I'll hop off. It's just an observation I had. Oh, you know what? One thing that I noticed in the movie that the Obamas made. What was it called? Leave the World Behind. Before like all this stuff happens, they just arrive at the Airbnb or whatever. So they walk in, and I see that there's like a painting of eyes, and I said, you know what? Let me count the eyes. 47 eyes are on there. And I'm like, that is interesting, because you could tell that there's one that they really tried to squeeze in there. Like, why would they do that?
Obama, that's his movie, took office at age 47 with the
that's probably
47th
why.
VP. Joe Biden took office in 72, the year of the 47th election. Now Kamala, she's trying to become number 47, speaking on the death anniversary of Huey P. Newton at age 47. He used to be friends with her father, Donald J. Harris. So
interesting. All right, man. Appreciate everything you do. It's just kind of sad that not many people are like at work. I try talking to people about this stuff, and like today we were talking about the hurricane. I guess because FEMA is running out of funds because of they're supplying migrants with the funds or whatever. That's what they were telling me, and I don't know. It's just I told them about JFK and weather warfare. I even showed them the video of where he's talking about it, and they just like, I could see that they're just shutting down to like, and it's just like, man, dude, and they're like hardcore Trump supporters, and it's just like, it's sad, dude. It's sad that the fact that people are just so invested in these elections. Like I never understood it in high school. Like I still don't. Well, I mean, it's for control, and now I see it why they're doing it. But I mean, why people are so invested, I just don't know why.
You know what FR stands for, right? At least on my FR. I always talk about the FRs.
No.
I'm sure you've heard me say it 1,000 times. It's the more politically correct way to abbreviate how I feel about these people.
Okay, yeah, now I understand.
Yeah, that's the real problem, and I've realized that since I was 18. I was like, everybody's an FR. Fair enough. They're like, what's a FR? The Mormons use the word frick. I don't really like that word, but that's how they would use the F. And the R word is like when you're in the Special Olympics. Yeah, so. like I've always said, really, when the buses are picking up the kids, they should all be getting put on the short bus, because you associate that with the Special Olympians, and that's pretty much all this nation creates. That's why they can't figure out any of this stuff. They can't follow along. It's over their head. Math and words, I can't comprehend it. It's like it's elementary, Watson. Come on, Sherlock Holmes over here. Get with the program. No, I mean, it really is. It's just like people are really dumb.
Yeah, they got the ism, the tardism.
All
right, man. I appreciate everything you do, and keep it up. Keep it up, dude. I mean, you might not be getting through to everybody, but dude, this is just, it's mind blowing. Like, it really is. Not just the sports, but the rituals in the news.
It's something else. It's something else. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you trying to get out the word, and the information drops today. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Goodbye.
All right. You have a good one. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off. Thank you again to everyone. It's the like and the share, and until next time.